Guys, thank you for checking out the video. Today I'm in a slightly different section of the flat. I have managed to leave the little attachment for my tripod at the gym, so I'm just hoping and praying that it's there when I get there today, because it's the second time I've used that tripod. So today I just wanted to quickly jump on and give a bit of a conclusion as to how the gut healing journey has gone, and show you the supplements that have made the biggest difference for me, and also just go through some of the unexpected things that I experienced from doing this process. So I'm going to just start off with some of the benefits and some of the limitations or cons, if you like, about the process. I'm just going to preface by saying I 110% recommend that if you are just not feeling quite right in the tummy region, just feel like you need a bit of a reset, if your energy levels have been really low, I would 100% recommend that you do something like this, because all of those things have been more or less resolved for me so far. But your gut as the headquarters of your body, it literally controls every part of your body, from your mind, down to your toes, like literally. Your mind, your muscle system, your nervous system, your reproductive system, everything is governed by what's going on in the gut. Health is so closely correlated to mental health, and that's something that has probably affected us all at some level, especially over the last couple of years. But mental health, you don't just like instantly think of, rocking in a chair. It's anxiety, it's brain fog, it's mood swings, depression, all of those sorts of things will get a major benefit from sorting out your gut health. And I'm a testament to it. I know that I just spoke about forgetting my tripod at the gym and brain fog. Some things are a little bit too deeply ingrained, but no, literally mental clarity is definitely one of the things that I've experienced through this journey. So one of the biggest contributors to that is sleep. And even though my sleep has never been bad, I've never been somebody to only sleep a few hours at night, have problems falling asleep, insomnia, that sort of thing. That's never been an issue for me. But I've noticed a marked change in the quality of the sleep that I'm getting now. So before I was waking up every night, and that would either be because I had stuff on my mind, just overthinking, or just to go to the bathroom. And that would typically always be worse in the week leading up to my cycle. I've noticed a marked difference in my sleep. And this is what I mean when I say that everything ties back to the gut, because the gut's better, so the sleep is better, so the hormones are better, so the mental clarity is better, so the productivity is better. Do you see what I mean? So it's just like everything, when you really peel it back, it always comes back down to the gut. So of course, the next thing that I was really keeping an eye on is my hormones and mood swings throughout the month. How PMS would typically show up for me, and I'll talk you through the whole cycle. So basically days 1 to 5, obviously day 1 is the start of the cycle. That's the day of the bleed. That could sometimes be really, really painful, literally rolling around on a carpet painful. But literally after that first day, my energy levels are starting to come back. So on that first day, I'll be pretty wiped out. Sometimes with pain, other times just feeling really fatigued, which is normal because, we're shedding at that time. But by day 2 or 3, energy levels are coming back up. I'm going back to the gym, everything's fine. And typically between days 3 and 15 would be when I feel absolutely amazing, strong in the gym, sociable, high energy levels, focused on goals and stuff like that. Again, normal, that's when your testosterone is peaking throughout the month. However, day 15, day 15. So this would be around the time of ovulation, which is really odd because obviously you think that ovulation, you'd be in the mood to party, in the mood to socialise, all that sort of stuff. No. Actually, that had a tendency to make me feel quite anxious. And if you really peel it back to a primal level, kind of makes sense because, you're sort of in that fertile stage. So you're scanning your environment for any threats, anxiety, hypervigilant, hypercritical, and that sort of thing would be going around day 15, and also just feeling quite antisocial, I just want to be at home, cocooning sort of thing. So days 15 to 27, 28, that would be I wouldn't say that it's all downhill from there, but I would definitely notice a shift in my energy and drive and mental clarity in that later half of the cycle. Now again, these aren't, anything too unusual. And on a primal level, most of it is actually quite healthy. So in that second half of the cycle where the inflammation is starting to increase, I've noticed a huge difference. So like there's no headache before the cycle starts. Body temperature is much more regulated. Just loads of good signs that my body is feeling less burdened. Because if your body is burdened with like toxins, like environmental toxins, chemicals from food, especially if like you drink alcohol, coffee, all those sorts of things, when the body is overburdened, it's really going to show up in that later half of the cycle. And I just noticed that in that later half of the cycle, I'm just experiencing a lot less symptoms. So that would be the next really noticeable change that I've noticed. The next one I'm going to talk about is water retention. So typically what I would notice is that first thing in the morning you look really flat. That's completely normal for everyone. But by the time I got home, and even throughout the day, like after lunch, I would literally feel like my bra feels like the underband. I could sort of feel it against my skin. And when I get home and I take off my clothes, I can just see that it's not morning anymore. But since doing this process, I've noticed that I'm retaining a lot less water, so I don't feel that tightness on my bra strap throughout the day. I look the same as I do in the morning when I come home in the evening, given I haven't just eaten or eaten something that wasn't quite right for me. If it was a normal day eating the foods that I should be eating, when I come home my body looks like it did first thing in the morning, which is nice. And I would say that is due to inflammation coming down in the body, because inflammation will definitely drive water retention, but also the lymphatic brushing, which I've been doing most mornings. Not every morning, but most mornings I've been doing that. So just getting that lymph system moving, doing a little bit more cardio as well. Not like heavy intensive cardio, but just moving my body more than I was before. Making sure that I'm getting like 10,000 steps a day has really sort of contributed to the water retention just like flushing out of my body naturally. And potentially this is why I'm not getting up to go for a wee in the middle of the night, because the water system is kind of like more efficient and doing what it needs to do throughout the day, maybe. And the last thing, and by no means the least significant thing, is spirituality. Now, I'm a logic person, yeah? I am a logic person, and I have to say that since I've been doing this, because of the lifestyle that comes with it, you're becoming very sort of like in tune with yourself. So that kind of makes you feel a lot more grounded. I'm doing more meditation, I'm doing more salt baths, that sort of thing. And because of all those things, all those practices, part of the process is journaling as well. Not just kind of like writing down, what you've been eating throughout the day, but also writing down, like, if you've slipped up here and there, just writing down what was going on that day to kind of like help you understand what your triggers are. And also like gratitude practice. So just making sure that you're sort of like writing down or thinking about things that you're grateful for throughout the day. So I'm not going to attribute it only to like the cleansing process, but certain the lifestyle things that come in with it as well. But I've definitely felt closer to God throughout this process. Definitely feeling my intuition more, and just feeling a lot more sort of like connected to the earth. And listen, I know that this sounds woo-woo, but just kind of like much more connected to like energy and stuff like that. And the way that that's shown up for me is trusting my intuition a lot more, and being in a position to actually trust my intuition a bit more. So how they talk about gut feelings? If your gut's upset, you can't necessarily trust your gut feelings, because an upset gut's going to have you feeling anxious when you shouldn't be feeling anxious. You're worrying about situations that you don't need to worry about, and all those not negative but low vibe emotions really do get in the way of your intuition. So of course, me being a logic person, I couldn't just take that as gospel. I had to actually look it up. And when I started to look at other spiritual practices, like even down to like ayahuasca, plant medicine, different religions and cultures that fast, they all talk about how fasting leads to enlightenment. And while I haven't been fasting, I've been greatly reducing the impact and the stress and the work that my gut has to do. And again, if we talk about the gut being the headquarters, if your gut is always busy, either being under stress from the wrong foods or just digesting food that, in excess, then you're just not going to be able to tap into those like higher vibe intuitive feelings. And that's all I'm going to say on that, because this is not a spiritual channel. But yeah, take it from somebody who is got all the questions. It's a real thing. So those are the expected and unexpected benefits that I got from it. So just moving on to some of the cons, it was extremely restrictive. I would say that that's kind of a pro and a con, in that it's completely re-established my relationship with food. So with the journaling, you're kind of identifying situations, people, emotions that are triggering you to, eat the wrong things. But as all that stress starts to calm down in your stomach, and so throughout the body, you'll find that you're reacting a lot less to like stressful situations. So I actually had a really stressful confrontation at work, and usually I'm not that calm person. I'm not the one. Usually I'm not that person. But I was really able in that situation to be compassionate, see where the other person was coming from, see that it was their ego talking to me and not them. Listen. Yeah, it's real. And from that, I was just a lot more able to keep my frame and just maintain neutrality. And that just completely diffused the situation. Now, I'm not gonna lie, I could feel like butterflies in my stomach, and they talk about butterflies being a sign of being excited or being in love or being anxious or whatever. It's a stress response, and I could literally feel butterflies in my stomach, but it wasn't enough to kind of like rise up and come out at the person, which was great. So that was a win. But anyway, I digress. So it was very, very restrictive. So of course that had a massive impact on my social life. Literally, I had one off-plan meal a week. And when I say off-plan, it wasn't necessarily like McDonald's or something, but just something that wasn't on the list. I'm not a big drinker anyway, but alcohol was not really, beneficial to this process. So if I was going to drink, it would literally be once a week. So of course that put a huge strain on my social life. So that was one of the cons. Training. I was not able to train as much or as intensely as I would like to. And again, I would see that as a bit of a pro and a con, because one, it highlighted how much I rely on training for fulfillment, which is not a bad thing, but also there is more to life, right? So yeah, it kind of highlighted how much I relied on training for fulfillment. Also how much I was relying on exercise to raise my endorphins, to give me energy, to give me dopamine, to make me feel good. And yes, again, that's really not a bad way to get all those things, but it would be nice to be able to have a better balance of those without having to train. But yeah, because of the calorie restriction, because of the low amount of carbs, I just wasn't feeling as strong or as willing to train. So yeah, I feel like there should be more than 2 cons, but actually no, that's literally it. And even though they're cons, they had pros attached to them. So yeah, again, 100% recommended. And even still, that's a pretty brief overview of all the benefits that I got from this. So yeah, 100% recommended. So don't worry, I hear you. How can you start? So I'm just going to quickly take you through some of the supplements that got me started in this process. Now, these are just the supplements. They're just one component of the program. So, these aren't going to give you all the benefits I got, but they have been pretty significant throughout this journey. And the first one is this. This is not nice. This is really not nice. You've probably seen that trend that's going around on social media where it's like, you're gonna suffer, but you're gonna be happy about it. Yeah, that should literally be this product's slogan, because you are gonna suffer, but you're gonna be happy about it. It tastes really, really bitter, but it's essentially a blend of psyllium, which is really, think of it as a broom for your intestines. So literally, you have psyllium, you have lots of water, it expands in your intestines, and it literally just passes everything out. So it's got that psyllium in there. It's also got some really potent herbs that are antibacterial, antifungal, anti-parasitic, loads of things just in there. So just think of that as a colonic that you can take from the mouth down rather than bottom up. So yeah, you need to proceed with caution with this, and it's not something to just go in and take. So when I was doing my research about spirituality and fasting, ayahuasca is essentially a purging of all like negative emotions and things like that. And if you think of it from a spiritual aspect, it's the ritual and the, you know, visions that you have that kind of like bring you more into enlightenment. But there is an element of purging. Now, purging, you can think of it as I'm purging all these negative emotions, but from a scientific perspective, you hold so many negative emotions, trauma, memories in your gut. It's a lot to go into in this video. You'll often hear about people when they have massages and they burst into tears, when they have colonics and they feel, you know, trauma release and things like that. That's because you've got those negative emotions that are literally manifesting as ailments, and those have now been removed. And that is true for your gut as well. So I know what you're thinking, great, I've had trauma, I've had negative emotions, where can I get this stuff? How can I start taking it? There needs to be a process before you go in with something like this, just like there would be before you go in for a colonic, just like there would be before you went in to do like something like plant medicine. Essentially, you need to prepare your body like mentally and give it like a bit of a cleansing from, you know, everyday toxins before you go in with something like this. So keep that in mind. If you do want to do that, make sure you go in with guidance. If you've got any questions, of course, my email's in the description box below. But please don't just go in. If you're somebody that's eating like dairy, gluten, caffeine, alcohol, you know, pretty everyday things on an everyday basis, and then you want to go in with something like this, trust me, it won't be a good idea. So any questions, let me know. I didn't actually bring this in until about 8 weeks into the process, and I'm glad that I waited that long, because even at that point there were still some pretty symptoms. So yeah, so the next thing I want to talk about is super enzymes. Now basically, as you would have picked up by now, we're talking about reducing the stress load on the tummy. Even if you are somebody that doesn't suffer with like constipation, doesn't suffer with like bloating and burping and stuff like that, if we think that we're essentially detoxing by resting the digestive system. So what these do is they help you to assimilate your food. So if you're eating lots of protein, which you should be, eating lots of protein, digestive enzymes have made a massive difference to me, especially since the carbs were reduced. For me, my system works best when there's lots of carbs going through, lots of fiber going through. But part of this process was to reduce that quite a lot. So I was just having like mostly like protein and vegetables and really sort of like easily to digest carbs. So I did feel like I needed a little bit of assistance, and those were what I used, the super enzymes by now. So they are a mix of betaine HCl, and they've also got digestive enzymes, amylase, protease, and lipase. So that's going to help you to break down carbs, protein, and fats. Yeah. And then next we have activated charcoal. So activated charcoal acts as a binder. So if you're somebody that eats and gets really gassy, that's essentially, you know, the microbes in your stomach, they are producing gas in response to the food that you've just eaten. If you're not somebody that's going to the loo 3 times a day, which is normal by the way, if you're just going once a day, if you think about it, you're eating 3 or 4 times a day, but you're only going to the loo once a day. So there is going to be a bit of a backlog. That in itself can cause gas to build up, which can cause a lot of bloating. So these are really good for that, because they essentially absorb all that sort of like toxic gas and really help you with the bloating. When you're detoxing, there is a chance that you're going to be releasing toxins faster than you can get rid of them. So using something like activated charcoal is going to really help with the negative side effects that can come from that. So if you've ever done a detox and you feel like your tongue gets really like that white coating, if you feel like you detox and whenever you detox you're getting like headaches and you just don't feel very good, that's because you're releasing toxins but you're not able to get rid of them quickly enough. So that's where something like activated charcoal comes in. I just got those from Planet Organic, and that's the brand there. So I take about 3 of those with meals. Along the same vein, this is actually run out now, but this is really great stuff. This is NAC. NAC is a precursor to the master antioxidant of our body called glutathione. So that's really good support for the liver. You may or may not know, but the liver is like the major metabolic detoxing organ of the body. So any way that we can assist it, when you think it's going to be working really hard at the moment because we're again like detoxing, releasing toxins, and we need to get rid of them. If the liver is burdened and sluggish, then it's not going to be able to do that so well. So just giving it a little bit of extra support is always going to be a good idea. It's essential, not even a good idea, it's essential, it's a must. So yeah, NAC, I just got those from Amazon, and that is it for today. I am now going to go to the gym and hopefully find that little attachment for my tripod. It's so annoying. So I've got this really lovely new sturdy tripod. I treated myself to it after having the same one for literally like 2 years. You know, like the little piece that screws onto the top? I'm trying to be organised and put it in a carry case. Usually I just carry my tripod just as it is. But I thought, no, put it in the carry case. Not everyone needs to know your business. So I had to screw off the thing to put it in the carry case and bloody lost the thing. So fingers crossed it's still there when I get there, because if it's not, I'm literally going to have to buy a whole new tripod. So yeah, wish me luck, and if you don't see me for the next couple of weeks, then you know what's happened. But yeah, always, if you got any value from the content, please let me know. If you'd like to know anything more, a bit more in depth, there were certain things that cover this at quite a high level, because it is quite personal. But if there is anything that you want to know more in depth, then please feel free to contact me. Contact details below. And apart from that, I hope you have a great day, and I'll see you next time.